Really Kinyash, and today we want to talk about how getting money early makes men to marry wrong. And I know we are living in a society today where when you get money, they will tell you, what are you waiting for now? Just settle down, get married, so that you can get someone who can manage your money. But they won't tell you, before you get married, you need to grow, you need to mature up, you need to know how to manage your finances and even your family. And so, what are some of these mistakes we make? We are here, and today you will be enlightened and you make the right decisions. Benjamin.
One reason people marry wrong when they get some money is growing among poor people. So that the moment you get some small money, it begins to look like it's a lot.
So it is not even...
no, it's an environmental.
Literally it is small. But because of where you are coming from...
You're buying a car when you're 21, and the men around you bought it when they're 61. So they label you rich,
yes,
opulent, and all that. So the one reason is that you are too naive to understand that what they're calling a lot is your starting point. I saw a quote, a vehicle written, you know, these quotes by vehicles, the street psychology. I love the street psychology. They usually drop something there that can get you thinking. So they had written there, getting to the top is only the beginning. Now, getting to the top,
it is just the beginning.
You guys talk about tall buildings. That height of that building for you is very tall. But if you are a pilot who is trying to get a cruising height, is that tall? No. Sometimes the people, the language they're using, they come from another cluster, not you. Your journey can be so different that where other people stopped at the peak of their powers is where you start.
That's hard.
By the time they saw $1 million in the account, it was a retirement package. For you, $1 million is a starting package.
This life.
And maybe these are parents who have done actually an excellent job in giving you a better starting. Remember I told you, I will know we have parented well when our dream car is our children's first car.
Where are you coming from today?
That's how I'll know we have done a good job. You know, we are dreaming of this Porsche, we are dreaming for Range Rover. That's our dream. You know, we are working one day. When we reach there, when our children are our age and they're starting life, I expect you to give to them during their wedding that car that was your dream. That's how you can tell yourself, yeah, man, we can now, you know, we'll be retiring together and we'll be checking. So, how did you do it? You know? I want us to reach that point where we reached is our children's starting point. So sometimes you're successful because your parents did a good job. Or they did a terrible job that motivated you to change things. Some of us were not motivated by claps. We were motivated by gunshots. Well, I don't know why they still start marathons with a gun. Surely. You want to tell me they have not found something else they can produce in this day and age?
Yes.
What kind of custom is this? There's somebody behind you holding. Is it to produce adrenaline? I don't know what. So some of us were not marathoners, but it is not the first time we are being chased by. So it could be that the thrust you took off with. There are people who set out to change the world. Some of us were setting out to save our lives. Okay, not to save the world. Some people wanted to save the world from the climate change and, you know, global warming. Some people had very noble ambitions to save the world. Some of us wanted to save ourselves.
Our lives.
Hey, there's a time I was telling you that I hope we get to go far out there in the world, but I'm not reaching out for it. That's not what I'm dreaming for. Having seen where me and my brethren are perishing, I am satisfied. Now that I've come out upon a solid ground, to throw ropes, just that can be the purpose of my life, and I'll be very satisfied. And do I envy the Zuckerbergs who wanted to transform the world with technology? No. That is their place, and they're also helping me. The technology is also helping me to reach my purpose.
Yes. Yes.
So, once you know your lot in life and you accept other people's lot in life, envy has no place. No place in envy. No place. And the one reason you will get a lot of money is not because you are all this, because the trajectory of your life required such a high starting that you don't have time to lift from the ground later in life. You can only start there, and that's your bare minimum. Your trajectory, your calling, the kind of money you're working with is foreign to the people you are around. So you shall acknowledge the following, that they're pushing you to marry because for them money is very dangerous. You know where wealth is fearful? Money. Abundance. They know people who are killed for the money. Yeah. You know people who drank themselves silly. So they are counting how many things might happen to you because you have money. You actually hear the panic. One guy literally told the nephew to stop looking for money until he marries. Money is very dangerous when you're alone. It can kill you.
But is that true?
In his world, men drank themselves to death. Money kills, by the way. When you have no character for it, no capacity for it. When you put too much water that the tank can't contain, it will overflow. If you continue pumping, it breaks. Yeah. People have the same capacity for money. They have how much they can contain without bursting. The good with us is that we can expand, but some people's capacities are small. You have seen workers who can't come back until they finish the salary.
And it is 10,000.
That's their capacity. That's their capacity. The teacher who asked the mathematics question that your father borrowed 100 shillings and he paid 40. How much more does he remain to pay? And the boy said nothing. 0. The teacher repeated the question, thinking this boy is not grasping the question. Your father borrowed 100 shillings.
Yes.
He paid 40. How much more does he owe? Nothing.
How now?
And the teacher is frustrated, saying, can't you see that 100 minus 40 is 60? And the student said, you know mathematics, but you don't know my father. He won't pay anything. So, the question was not the problem.
Yes.
It was the example.
Yes. The puzzle.
The teacher was discussing mathematics. The student was discussing a particular man.
Yeah.
The characters the teacher was using were figures. The character this student was using.
It is that man.
He wants
and
to
he knows him better.
So, many times people are pushing you because in their worldview, money is dangerous. How much strength does it take you to accept that you have surpassed your parents, your advisors, in capacity for money, in wealth, in wisdom, in character? How long does that take? Most young men can't imagine that way. They are taught to obey the elders, isn't it? At what point do you accept now you are ahead of the elder financially and he can't help you?
Yeah.
That's very counterintuitive, isn't it? Nobody can advise you that.
Yeah.
The elders can't advise you that you can actually surpass them. We did a whole show saying why people who helped you suddenly turn hostile when you go beyond what they expected. More so when you start to outshine them. Many people have no problem helping you for as long as you don't become better than them. They hope you remain needy. If you happen, and I told you if you're driving a small car that you enjoy moving around with, but it's a tiny type, and then you find a guy stranded with a heavy machine. He's stranded, his car has run down on battery. And then you bring your Alto close to just help him jumpstart
His heavy machine.
After he starts the heavy machine and you say, thank you, man, thank you. Do you expect him to still remain behind you? No, let's just use cars.
Yeah.
This guy is driving a V8 and you are driving a Vitz. And he was stranded. The battery ran down. You know? Now you brought your Vitz and you helped
This guy.
after he starts. Do you still expect him to remain?
No. No.
That's the problem. Many of the people you are helping are V8. And you are Vitz. And you are generous, you are kind, you assisted them. The problem is we cannot picture somebody we helped having more capacity than us. It's so difficult. I was telling my wife of 2 young men I helped orient in Form 1 and in Form 4. Good friends, came from same village, same school. They used to score marks, one mark at different, 1 mark. For 10, for 11, very sharp. As years went by, their career peaked on a trajectory. You know, some of us, it was not a trajectory.
Yes.
It was a meander.
Calves.
So these boys found a lot of favor. They came together, shot up together. You hear them abroad, talking millions, landing here in a hype. And you are still hustling. You see,
You are struggling to put food on your table.
they're still very respectable, but your career is yet to peak. They still see you senior. They're calling you senior.
Was.
Subtitles.
Yeah.
They hold you in high regard.
Eh.
But the achievements they are doing, the things they are doing. Somebody's asking advice on how to run for senatorial seat. And you, the last time you are campaigning for anything, it was student reps.
20 years ago.
You tried to be a class rep and you failed. Here is a junior asking senior, I'm trying to. And when you say you're about to take a matatu, he sends a vehicle to pick you.
Yeah.
And his driver. And some of these guys are not arrogant. Please don't hate rich people. Don't transfer your attitude. You know, and poor people think they make it look like, oh, rich people are rude.
Yeah.
No. Many of those guys are very down to earth. They're actually very honorable.
Yeah.
They still remember you. They appreciate you in front of people. This is the senior who made me settle in school.
Yeah.
He treated me well. Other guys were bullying us. He protected us. We always think, now,
We are grateful.
and this guy is moving big. And you have to brush your shoe so that you can walk.
Route 11.
One reason you'll be misadvised. It's so difficult to conceptualize that. Although this guy oriented you, is your senior, now he can't give you financial advice. He can't tell you how to run for senator. He can't tell you how to manage millions. He has not managed any. That's how young men get it wrong. So they continue listening to the same advisors who they have already bypassed. But because they are so young and the advisor is older, they continue thinking the experience still applies, doesn't it? In the US, many professors are very humble and realistic. They told Larry Page and his colleague for Google inventors, when he saw the idea, it looked very potential and they are students. He told them, you know guys, I think this thing can do well in the market. How about you pause your studies, go try it out. If it doesn't work, come pick up your studies. How many professors can advise you that? And they know if it succeeds, you bypass them.
Not here.
Thank you. So, many times you don't get advisors who actually advise you to go ahead of them. My pride was that I found teachers who said, if you do well, I will know that I have succeeded. You should not reach where I reached. It shows that I have failed. I need to give you what I was not given. I need to show you the route early. If you step on my shoulders, you can see farther I can see. Yes. Farther than I can see, isn't it? So, one of the things these young men marry wrong is because they continue listening to the same advisors who they are bypassed. The second reason is because you hear money, but nobody tells you what money brings. The moment you get new figures in your account, new figures, it opens possibilities, it opens realities. We only had one case in the history of this country where a person won a lot of lottery millions and they changed their life. We only had one case. But do you remember 1 year later he had not touched the money? Very rare case where money came to a person who had capacity. Many gamblers who get money don't have capacity for it. They get drowned in it.
Yes.
So the problem with marrying, why these boys marry wrong, it's because once money arrives, it brings a lot of wind, storm, a lot of whirlwind, a lot of confusion, it arrives with an energy. Money has a stormy pull. You need to be to be very stable, to keep your head high. For example, how many retirees maintain their composure after getting their retirement package? It's a terminal payment. You're not getting another one like that one, but they still lose themselves, isn't it? Go to the village. How many people have built shops there that the only inhabitant is a lizard? Why do we build such big structures for lizards? You see somebody coming from in a very bare village that has no economic activity. They put up 3 big shops using their retirement package in a very dry market that has no cash crop, no farming activity, nothing. Just people there selling bananas for 5 shillings. Now, your uncle having retired from the army and was given some package,
He goes ahead to build that.
and he completes it. And the only few inquiries getting are offering 500 shillings per month. And your uncle poured 10 million here. There are people who can't sit with money in their account. It has a lot of pull. Confusive. They can't even settle and think. They ask advice from 100 people.
Have 20,000.
Have you ever tried to advise a confused person? It was very frustrating. Because they're asking you, they're asking the other, they're throwing it. It's like, where is your brain yourself? Where is your direction yourself? It is very frustrating when the person you're trying to advise to show the way does not have the composure to digest information and make decisions. The reason these people marry wrong is because when the money comes, it brings a general sense of confusion and fear that something bad will happen to you. That if you don't do something, this money is dangerous. We started a practice with our online class. We said this year, 2023, starting that 2022, we start putting aside 10% of our money to allow us to get accustomed to money. You may think it's a small thing. To familiarize with the seated money. Try it. Try it. Money is seated somewhere, and you're not supposed to use it. The urges you battle, the ideas you struggle with, the temptations you wrestle with. By the time you learn to forget it and move on with life and continue, it changes who you are. So what if you have never had money seated and suddenly somebody pumps it into your account? Will you ever sit until it gets finished? I saw one comedian explaining the moment he was paid $1 million, he left to nowhere. Could not even buy clothes, carry clothes. He will buy others when he arrives there. Just $1 million. And he can't carry clothes. Why bother carrying it? Even a phone, he bought a new one. By the time he got back, his balance was 8 shillings. He had the presence of mind to book a return ticket.
Yeah.
So he left the hotel when the money ran out.
Oh, no.
And he had to quarrel the taxi guy because he can't pay, he lied. He has no money from the last pickup to the airport.
He
No
can't
money.
pay.
That is what happens. Accustom yourself to sitting with money. Sometimes one easy way to do what the sport pesa guy did. You win 200 million and forget about it. Let things calm down. Continue living your small life. Zuckerberg had capacity. That's why he could continue sleeping in the same house with the mattress on the floor when he's already $3 billion worth. Have you noticed that wealthy guys don't show up Is the broke guys who try to act like they're rich, buying expensive things they can hardly afford. The guys who can afford the expensive things and have nothing to show. They're just living their life. A time comes to buy this or the other, but they're not in a hype
What is that?
capacity when you learn to sit with money. So what you are practicing, some people are saying, I keep saving, but you can't stay. When a need comes, money goes. And I was telling them, you don't have a money problem, you have emotional problems. You cannot control your impulse to buy, impulse to spend. And the restlessness of money is around. I can do this, I can do the other. To concentrate and go to work. To work for another 30,000 when you have 200,000 in your account. What is that? Capacity. To be able to sit still. God, if you reflect back, you realize many people have already reached their limit. The moment they get 80,000, they disappear. They switch off their phone. How much?
8,000.
You call them for a gig. They are good MC. They are so talented. You just admire that. I should give this guy a chance. So when you saw a chance somewhere for MCing, you even negotiated for them, including the down payment. But because you suspect them, you kept the money yourself.
Yeah.
And the organizers told you, Willie, you are the one we know. That guy is yours. Here is the money. Get him to come to work.
If he fails.
So Willie is trying to manage his fella. And Willie is just a teacher in that school, and they have a parents' day, and this guy is MC, and you are sure the talent is unquestionable. They will love him. He can hype people. He made the events. He is so memorable. But on the other side, he has another secret problem. When there is money, he must drink. And sure, after you paid him, the phone went off. He will reappear 2 weeks later.
All that money is spent, all of it.
Yes, you have people like that. You have people who can. So that person, the moment they make money from somewhere, they be told, marry quickly. The wife will help you now. Keep the money. So people marry on impulse because money arouses all their impulses. That's the second problem. The third reason, so that I can tell you the solution. That reason why men marry wrong when money comes is because they got the money and they were not on a mission. They got the money when they were not on a
Mission.
Yes. Some people were working hard and they were coming from my WhatsApp group where we are trying to escape problems. And that hard work to escape problems finally produced money. They generally become the most obnoxious people in society. People with money and no mission. Become like animals. They eat anything, buy anyone, get anything, and arrogant, don't care. I was told of one man somewhere who married a wife, added another one, started having sexual relations with the daughter of this one and the daughter of the other one. Now he has 4 wives, daughters, and the mothers. He comes from abject poverty, but he was so driven to work his way up. Then he got the money without any mission. Now he can buy anybody. And that has become his life. If you get money without a mission, you will not be marrying for the mission, you'll be marrying because of the money. Who do you end up with? People who came to you because of the money. And there's no satisfaction, no deep connection. The problem we have with young men is that we are so self-centered. We don't think of society, we don't think of higher calling, we don't think of transformation, we don't think of innovation that alleviates problems, that we don't think. We are not selfless, we are selfish. We have this culture of widespread selfishness where what I want, I. For me, after I came out, I realized I was helped to come out so that I can pick others. And I was narrating somewhere how different myself and my wife were. We were when we were dating, and when I took her to one of my mentors, he described it in a way that I had not thought about it. Because he was an outsider, I could see the contrast. This girl came from a collector family that is working small and modern and nuclear family. I came from polygamous. She was the firstborn. I'm the 10th born. I come from. I have relatives that are uncountable. Theirs, they're just a handful.
Yeah.
The WhatsApp group of family. There's no WhatsApp group in our place because we come from many generations. Some don't have phones. You can form a WhatsApp group of your particular nuclear from that. The kind of dysfunction and failures and poverty and irresponsibility and parental abandonment I was coming from, I looked battered. When you arrive at life battered, and because you are fighting tooth, you don't quit. Many times you end up getting money. Because of that, who go back to where? To death. My friend, I better die here. That's why some guys make it. They're coming from, you saw other guys die of lack of treatment, lack of because lack of food, the hardship. There's no option of going back. So when they arrive in the city, it is mafia, savage,
anything.
And you have seen those kind of people. It's all about survival. There's no higher goal. So they work. When they finally get the money, what do they do with it? Themselves.
They have no mission.
Yes. They don't have a heart for the people they left in trouble. So that kind of person now, even when they marry because that's why they keep adding wives, because they can take care of them. Because. And what kind of wives want to be added there because of money? Of course, the materialistic ones who are looking for money. What is the solution? Number one, when you arrive to the business world, to your innovation world, when you start working as a young man, separate yourself from your mentors and have a distance. Those authority figures are good to advise. There's a place, but sometimes once you start on your path, you need to be your own direction. Where you're going, many people have not seen there. And only your inner compass can tell you whether you're on track. Some of these good teachers, they mean well, but they have not trodden this far themselves. You're handling kind of money, kind of vision that they can't imagine about. You are comfortable because your capacity is very big. There's such a thing as somebody who's very old, their capacity is very small. You have seen people get retirement package and they run off with a new wife. They marry again, start drinking, squandering money that is not increasing. You saw the Simon Makonde story of a guy who wasted all his retirement, some money, is it coffee payment, in 1 week. So they were tracking on Monday. The balance was this.
Yes.
4.6 million. On Tuesday, reduced to this. He was seen here, checked in here, this one. So in a week, he was washed clean.
Yeah.
Why? His mental capacity was for no money. The moment you exceed any money. Now, if that man was to advise about money, get a wife, get another one, they will help you. When you start getting money as a young man, think carefully who you are looking for, who asking for advice. You need somebody who has both trodden that path, and most importantly, you need you to look out for your own mission, get to know where you're going. The second instruction is you marry. You may marry in an impulse because money is new and it arouses all urges, dreams, attempts, possibilities, temptations, trials. So if money brings that pull, that vibe of panic, restless, and you have not learned to sit with it, and to have it without it having you, get it without it getting you, possess it without it possessing you, that's something you must learn. It's not inborn. Really, I want you to have money by the time you're getting children so that they learn to sit in the same house with money. They don't want to steal it, use it. There's no scarcity. It's abundance. You teach them mission. And we were saying one way to raise your children is give them some money, ask them to spend a third on themselves, on the trip, buy what they want, give away a third to needy causes, needy children, and save a third. When you start doing that with 100 shillings, they practice it. That's how they will handle 100 million one day. They can spend this, help with the other, save the other. What if you are not raised on that? And suddenly now you have money and it is causing all this confusion and panic and anxiety and let me marry, let me. When you get money, sit down. Don't rush to buy anything. There is a flight of ideas, don't do anything. Sit with it there. That capacity really is a game changer. That capacity to be with money and you're not excited. It is not input. You learn it. And once you get it, you are done. You can actually plan long range. You can get money. One principle was saying with unplanned money is you don't rush to use it. When somebody surprises you, put it aside. Put aside. After clarity comes after a week. You see what really makes sense. You go back to the million you had stored somewhere and say, I think that plot makes sense. After the hype is gone, you don't start telling everybody, what do you think we buy? Lastly is money is supposed to be fuel for mission. Know what you're created to do and direct your money there, not to your appetite. If you sit with money and you have no mission, it will now start to feed you all your temptations, your urges, and your weaknesses. Yes.
Maybe before we go, there are those people who already made that mistake. Is there hope for them?
Yes. Now, when you wake up, we say when you wake up and you realize you're committed in marriage before you knew who you are, invite the person to change with you. Grow. Tell them what you think, how you guys can get better. And many times you only hope that they can agree to grow with you. If they disagree, they don't want to grow with you. Many times it's because you already sense there's no connection. You don't have a future. You're not going anywhere. Don't tie yourself to a place where you know, if I stay here, I'll never leave. In order to live, I have to leave. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. And there you have it. If you get money and you don't have a mission, that money will bring trouble into your life. And so sit down, have a mission for this life. Why did God bring me here on this earth? And then you'll be able to do that which God has called you to do with that money. And so don't rush because you have gotten small money and now you start thinking, now the best thing I can do is getting married. No, sit down and do your calculations well. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Willie Kinyash.
This is the Benjamin Zulu Global. Welcome our viewers from all over the world to the home of the Heart Matters. We're converging to learn together because when you know better, you can do better. And a better life is what we all want. Better work life, better family life,